They're often copied and imitated, but never equaled. Spinballs from Fun in Motion Toys have a new revision, and it's actually pretty great. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. Today, I've got a review of the Glow.0 Spinballs from Fun in Motion Toys, and if you've got a little flow artist in your life, you're gonna want to tune in for this one. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecha, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these amazing businesses and what they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I've got down in the description of this video. And special thanks to non-business friends of the channel, Johnny Howard, Lane Machinsky, and Becca Bekkonen. Thank you all so very much for your support for my work and my mission. For those of you not in the know, Spinballs and their parent company Fun in Motion Toys have been around for about a decade. They've been producing low-cost, entry-level LED poi targeted towards boutique toy stores around the country since their inception. They're kind of the perfect poi for kids to begin to learn how to get into poi spinning and flow arts. They're light, soft, and super intuitive and easy to use. And in their latest revision, Spinballs have added or improved upon pre-existing features to make their poi longer lasting and more versatile. I'll take you through my usual review rubric, outlining features, ease of use, brightness, durability, battery life, as well as sharing some of my own personal thoughts about how they feel to spin before we talk about price. So first up, let's look at features. Spinballs heads are soft silicone that can take a hit with minimal impact. They have internal batteries that recharge via micro USB and a single button interface for turning the poi on and off as well as shifting through their modes. These rechargeable batteries are a major upgrade as for years they'd run off of watch batteries that would require using a small screwdriver to get access to the battery compartment. This wasn't ideal both because they ran off of hard to find watch batteries and it was real easy to lose that screwdriver. Having the rechargeable option is fantastic both because it saves waste from the batteries and also it presents less of a barrier to continued use for months and even years. The upgrade was a fantastic choice and fixed one of my major pain points with the previous version of this product. As for the LEDs themselves, that button allows you to access up to 22 different modes, including a variety of fades, strobes, and individual colors. They also have the option of creating a custom mode out of any 3 colors you choose. The number of modes is also new, as is the custom programming feature. This brings these sets of poi more in parity with sets that are targeted at adults on the market by giving them access to more modes and letting them customize at least one. The tethers are nylon cord that doubles back upon itself to quickly trade out a variety of different custom lengths. You can disconnect the tethers from the heads, reset the length by sliding the knot up and down the tether, and then reconnecting the tether to the head. And I won't lie, these have been my other big pain point with Spinballs for a long time. What tends to happen is that because the nylon cords are kind of stretchy, the knot will start to crawl its way up the side of the tether that directly connects with the head and the handle. It winds up looking pretty messy and can require further readjustments as well as turning tangles into absolute masses of spaghetti. Now, the manual says there's instructions for dealing with the excess tether on the website, but I was unable to find this information in time for this review. It's hardly a deal breaker, and I think most kids are unlikely to care, but it is a spot where I think they could still use some polish. As for the handles themselves, these are definitely an old school blast from the past. They come with finger loops and swivels, so in theory you can bust out some orbitals. Now I haven't really used finger loops in the better part of a decade, but they are super helpful for little kids that might be learning to hold poi for the first time. Rather than trusting that they can keep a grip on the handles as they swing them around, you can be sure that the poi will not suddenly become uncontrolled projectiles. Nice for peace of mind. Cool, now let's dive into ease of use. So as sets of LED poi go, these really could not be easier. You just push the button to turn them on and navigate through the modes, and then hold it down to turn the poi back off. My usual test in this category is whether I could figure out how to turn on the poi and find a mode that I like without consulting the manual. I'm pleased to say that Spinballs gets an A+ on this point, passing with flying colors. Pun intended. I think kids playing with them might need a little bit of instruction to get the hang of putting on and taking off the finger loops. And of course, there's the stuff with the tether that I mentioned in the last section. But overall, you can tell these have been designed end to end to make them as accessible as possible. The custom mode I would not likely have been able to figure out on my own, but being as how every company pretty much has its own unique system for programming custom modes, I don't think that should be surprising either. So yeah, I don't know that I've ever encountered another set of poi that were this easy and intuitive to use. Well done there. Next up, let's talk brightness. Okay, so this was another major area of improvement in this latest revision. On older generations of Spinballs, the light was so dim it would typically be pretty dark out before I could really clearly make out that the balls were glowing, much less what color they were. Granted, they aren't as bright as many of the LED poi on the market currently that shoot for really intense brightness, but they are so noticeably brighter than past versions that it made me realize for the first time just how much of an impact brightness has on my desire to pick a set of LED props up. These new Spinballs felt much more inviting and professional, and I was not expecting that. Here's to an upgrade that I did not know that I needed. Next up, let's talk durability. So, I have used many sets of Spinballs in my day, and I have never broken a set. That isn't to say that they're indestructible, just that they've put up with all the punishment that I've given them. I've seen kids use and abuse them with varying degrees of intensity, and I've yet to see a catastrophic failure. If you're worried whether what'll break first is the poi or your child's attention span, the answer is most definitely the latter. Now, let's get into battery life. So, as is the case with many other sets of LED poi I've come in contact with in the past few years, this is where we get a trade-off for that brightness. I have two tests that I run on every set of LED poi that I review. I turn them on as bright as they'll go in solid white mode and let the battery run out because it's the most punishing test that I can give them. Next, I'll turn on a rainbow fade mode because in theory it should more closely match the most common use cases for LED poi and give people a better idea of the performance that they can expect for their own use. My solid white test got between 2.5 to 3 hours of battery life before conking out. My rainbow fade mode got essentially the same performance. It's interesting that the two wound up being functionally interchangeable, but either way, the takeaway here is that you've probably got around 3 hours of use before you need to recharge them. Also, just kind of an odd note to put in here because I can't think of where else to put it. When I perform my rainbow fade tests, I noticed something kind of odd. I turned the two poi on at exactly the same time, and I would think that that would mean that they'd stay in sync as they faded between colors, but by 40 minutes in, they'd begun to get noticeably out of sync. Not sure why, and I don't think it has any real impact on use, but I did find it a little odd. Cool, so now let's talk about personal thoughts and how they feel. So if I can be real with y'all, I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed playing with these. Usually spinning Spinballs feels so radically different from my other sets of poi that if I know I'm going to be using Spinballs for a specific task, I'll actually avoid using any other sets of poi for at least a day or so ahead of time to acclimate. Now, I don't know if the heads are heavier now or I just got used to spinning lighter poi or what, but these actually felt really comfortable, and I've been switching back and forth between them and other sets of poi pretty easily. I rarely use finger loops, but they provide enough surface area that I can hold onto them like I would a small ball handle. It works well enough for my purposes. And while I was getting prepped for this review, it also dawned on me that kids might not actually be the sole or even best use case for these as a target audience. There's plenty of people who can benefit from lighter sets of poi that don't require a lot of grip strength to use, including elderly people, people with certain types of physical disabilities, and people prone to shoulder problems. So if you find contact poi to be a little too hefty or unwieldy for whatever reason, these might not be a bad option to explore. Overall, the upgrades have all been overwhelmingly positive. These feel more like a solid set of poi and less like a toy that's going to wind up in the bottom of a drawer. I dig the changes. Well done to the team at Fun in Motion Toys. Spinballs Glow.0 LED poi are available for $24.99, and no, that is not a typo, over at funinmotiontoys.com. They come with a manual and micro USB charging cables. You can also download an app to learn the basics of poi with them, and it features a stunningly handsome instructor to guide you through a comprehensive set of lessons. Also, I've got a deal with Fun in Motion Toys, so if you'd like to get a discount on a set of Spinballs or any other of the Flow Arts inspired toys they make, you can use my code DREXFACTOR at checkout. It also helps out the channel, so thank you in advance. Did you get anything out of this review? What are your experiences with Spinballs? Did you get duped into buying one of the knockoffs? Let Let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to subscribe to get more tutorials, reviews, and flow sessions from me. This video would not be possible if not for the wonderful support of all of these amazing people right here. These are my flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the people listed down in the description, help to make this video and all the videos on my channel possible. Thank you one and all for your support. Do you like my videos? Do you like my flow sessions, vlogs, reviews, combos, and more? I'm on a mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the wider world and help people connect with their brains and their bodies. So help me do it. Head on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. You can do that at the link in the description or the card that just popped up if you are watching on YouTube. There you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards and help me along in my mission. Do check that out. Please and thank you. And if you'd like to check out more of my reviews for LED poi, I will leave a link to a playlist of those videos down in the description, as well as up on screen if you are watching this video on YouTube. Also, the YouTube algorithm thinks that you'll like this top video based upon your past viewing habits, so maybe give that a look too. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to get outside to flow today. I'll see you with a new video on Wednesday. Peace.